Alright, what's going on, guys? So for today, we're gonna be doing DLL injection. So pretty much what a DLL injection is, we have one process, process B, this is our injector.exe program, and then we have process A, let's say that's notepad.exe. And then process B, what we want to do is we want our code and our DLL to be executed on that vulnerable process, which is process A or Notepad. In this case, Notepad. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna allocate a block of virtual memory inside of process A space, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy our DLL into that virtual memory space, and then we call a special function called create remote thread x, and that actually executes the code in our DLL, which leads to a new thread in process A. So pretty much what a DLL injection is, it's a technique used for running code within the address space of another process, pretty much. So our own code. Um, yeah, so we're gonna get started program this. So if you don't have much C++ programming experience, you definitely should because this is a lot. Yeah, it's not that hard. It's pretty basic code. But I suggest some C or C++ experience, and pretty much you guys should have down. You guys should know some Win API types stuff. But other than that, we're gonna start doing this. So we're gonna need IO stream, and then we're gonna need Windows.h, and then we're also gonna need TL help 32.h. This is for like our snapshots or whatever. I'll explain what this fucking module is for later. Um, I don't know. We're gonna need strings. Good. But actually, just string.h because we're gonna do string compare. Let's TD. We're gonna need maybe standard library to use some C functions. I don't even know. Include a standard input output. I don't even know why I'm including that, but we're gonna include it for today, just in case. What I like to do is just include a bunch of shit that I might use through the project and get rid of it later. Then just get rid of it later. Um. Yeah. Okay. Now what we should do, we should probably have some, we're gonna have some global variables. So we're gonna pragma region globals, and then char sc. So this could contain our DLL path. This DLL. I don't know the DLL path yet. So this is the path to our dynamic link library. So let's just, and then, so this is the program we're gonna attach to. So in this case, just notepad++.exe for testing. And then our dword, dw main process ID. We're gonna keep this a global because we're gonna change it in our main function later. We're just gonna initialize that as 0. Okay, so there's really only 2 functions we need for this. So we need to get the process ID, right? The process ID is pretty much how Windows identifies, how Windows differentiates between each process on the operating system. So it assigns each process an ID. Cool. So dword. So we're gonna create, yeah. So we're gonna create a dword function. Dword 132 return. Whoop, whatever there. Process ID, and it's gonna take a process name, okay, which we're gonna try to get the process ID of. So handle h tool helper equal to create tool help 32 snapshot th 32 cs snap process. So what this function does is it literally pretty much takes a snapshot, not literally, but it takes a snapshot of all the running processes. That's literally it. Process entry to P32. Process. And then that's just gonna be at 0. Oh my god. I got a new fucking keyboard and it sucks. Yeah, so we get a snapshot of all the processes. And then now we need the size of the process entries. So p32.processEntry dot dw size is equal to the size of process entry 32. Okay. Alright, so now what we can start doing is we can start iterating through all the processes, and then we gotta get the process ID. So to do this, first let's do a little check. Let's check if our tool helper. So if it's not equal to null, we're gonna execute on this code because we want to make sure it doesn't return null or snapshot, which would be stupid. So if process 32 first h tool helper, and then you pass by reference at the p32 process entry. Then we're gonna enter a do while loop, right? So this loop is only gonna execute while we're getting all the other processes with process 32 next. Okay? And then it's p32 process entry. I believe that's right. Yeah. It's gonna execute while this remains true. Okay? And now, while we're iterating through all these, if not string compare p32 process entry dot .scexe file and then the p process name. So we're gonna compare the exe file. We're pretty much comparing the exe file and our argument here, just to make sure the process actually exists. Then we're gonna assign our dmain process ID to the p32 process entry dot t32. This is the process ID that comes with the structure. And then once we got that, we're gonna close the handle. Oh my penis suck. Turn DW main process ID. Cool. What else should I add? Yeah, else we were just gonna throw an std runtime error, and then just for debugging purposes, I just like to put the name of the function so I know where it is. But again, it's Windows programming, so it definitely won't come up. The fuck? Because if that doesn't execute, we're still gonna have to close the handle anyways. It's tool helper, and then still. Holy shit. Cool. So we have a function to get our process ID. In case you didn't know what's going on here, we take a snapshot of all our running processes with the create to develop 32 snapshot. And then what we do is we iterate through all our processes, but starting with process 32 first. And then we compare the exe file with the process name. And then, if that's true, we assign our process ID to the DH32 process ID. Then if it doesn't, we just keep iterating through until we find that process. And then we just return a process ID. Cool. So now we can actually start writing our injecting function. Okay, so bool, we're gonna create all this. Bool 132 inject DLL to process. And this takes a dword DW process ID, and then a pchar PC path to DLL. Cool. So we need a char SZ full DLL path name, max path, and I think that's defined as 255. I don't know what's this defined as. Oh my god. 260, sorry. 260 is the math path. So we're just gonna get the full path name. Normally people don't do this, but I like to do it. Get full path name. Because if you don't use null terminators when you start calling these functions, oh my god. Oh, this keyboard's so bad. I might bring it back. Full DLL path name, and then we're just gonna pass null to this function. And then we're gonna output the path to the console. The full path is stored in this variable right here. Okay. I could add the SCD runtime error with an else, but I don't want to. You guys can if you want. Okay. Now we actually have to open our process. So handle, we're gonna call this H process handle, and you're gonna open the process, and then the permissions we're given it is process all access, so ring 0, ring 2, ring 3, whatever, and then DW process ID, which we pass as an argument, and then if H process handle, if we can get the process, we are gonna create an LP void. LP void is literally just a void pointer. And then this is our load lib address, and we have to load a couple libraries here. And it's gonna equal to, so we're gonna use reinterpret cast. You can use C-style cast if you want, but I prefer reinterpret cast because, anyways, reinterpret cast LP void gets the proc address, and then we call get module handle A. This, just so we can get the address of kernel32.dll. And then what we're doing here, the function load library A is going to be called. Cool. If you're wondering, you can just use your regular C-style cast LP void or whatever, but I prefer not to. It's up to you. Oh my god, we're gonna do so much stupid error checking here. If LP load lib address is equal to null, then we're just gonna throw an SD runtime error, and then we have proc address. Okay, so now this part is important. Allocate memory for our DLL. So it's another void. These space of memories are all going to be void pointers, by the way. That's just how it works. So now our load location is going to be, so it's going to be the return value of virtual alloc x. Okay, and then obviously you got to pass your handle, h process handle. We don't have an address yet. And then the string length of the PC path to the DLL, which is our argument. And then you have to add +1 because C adds its null terminators at the end of strings. Well, just string length the function. And then the allocation type is memcommit or memreserve. And then the protection flags are page read write. Cool. So now we allocated our block of memory. So now we're gonna check if it's null. This is tedious. OSD runtime error. Alright, cool. So now we check for errors. How much time? What time are we at? Anyways, shit, we're at 17 minutes. We'll keep going. Virtual alloc x. Cool. So now this function, if you guys learn Windows programming a lot before, you would be familiar with write process memory. So now we actually have to write the DLL. We're not executing the code in there yet. We're gonna write it to memory. So if write process memory h process handle to the load location, and then the buffer is the path to the DLL, then the size is the string length of a z full DLL path name +1 null. We are gonna cout we are gonna output the load location. The reason I'm not using SD online is because it's actually not that great because it flushes the buffer, which is std out, and we don't want that, so it's just best to use the new line return character. Because in a sense, you're calling a whole nother function. Also, the runtime error. Steve runtime error. Okay, so what we did is we allocated our memory. We wrote our DLL to that memory space. Now, what we have to do is actually execute the code in the DLL. So handle h remote. This is our threader. Create remote that h process handle null 0 0, and then we're gonna cast LP thread start routine. Since it's in a function, I'm just gonna use a c.cast LP load lib address, and then LP load location. That's where we're loading is, and then the other stuff is just null. We don't have a thread ID. We're not using thread hijacking or anything like that. Cool. And we're just gonna wait for single object, because this will prevent interruptions. Each remote threader, and I believe you have to specify a time. Yes, milliseconds. I think infinite is defined. Yeah, it is. And then we have to. Then we're just gonna free our memory because it is executed. If you don't free your memory, you're gonna get a memory leak, and that's not good. H process handle. Oh wait, yeah, null terminator, and then we're gonna close. And now we have two handles open. We gotta close them. If closed handle, process handle. If we and not close handle. Throw an std runtime error. Let's do a pchar and then get last there. Cool. So we have our injector function. We have our function to inject. So in case you don't know what we do, we have our load library address of our two modules here, and then we allocate our memory inside of that program, and then we write our DLL, and then we execute the code in our DLL, and then we free the memory. Pretty much, it's pretty basic. And then now we actually have to specify our entry point for the program. So int main, right? So DW main process ID. Remember this was defined earlier. Now we're gonna call Win32 return process ID sc attach program. If DW main process ID, then we're gonna cout DW main process ID, and then since we get our process ID, we're gonna Win32. We're actually gonna now we're gonna inject our DLL. Process ID and the sc DLL path, which was defined up here, and we actually need a DLL. So And we're gonna create pause. Cool. So we're gonna build this, make sure there's no errors. Okay, build one succeeded. Cool, cool, cool. Now we need a DLL. So let's create a DLL. Let's see. YouTube DLL. Create YouTube DLL. Oh, it's an empty project. We're gonna add a file. Just gonna call it. Normally for big projects, you don't really just want to write all your code under one file. You want to have multiple headers or whatever. But yeah, just making sure. Alright, properties. So I want the target extension to be .dll. I want the application type to be a dynamic link library. And I want a multi-byte character set. Cool. That's pretty much it. Alright. So, to write your DLL, DLLs always have an entry function. So they always have a function called DLL main and it uses the standard calling convention, which is also typed F as a Win API. But anyways, we're not going to do that. DLL main, it takes an H instance. You don't really have to worry about these arguments right now. Just know this is how you create your DLL main function. DW reason. And then so if DW reason is equal to DLL process attach, then we are gonna call disable thread library calls because we don't want it to go calls. Then we need to execute a worker thread. So then a function we're going to be calling is void exec worker routine. And it's just going to call message box A, DLL injected, success, and then that mouse button OK. Just gonna create a thread. And then cast to an LP thread start routine. I hate when Windows threading is the worst out of all the operating systems. No, okay, yeah. So we call our function. Wait, now it passes 0, and then this should be null, yeah. Right? Okay, so this is our DLL main function. So we're just gonna build our DLL. Make sure it actually exists. YouTube DLL. Alright, so we got the path for this. Damn keyboard. Cool. So, what should happen? What should happen is when we inject our DLL, that message box should pop up in the address space of Notepad++. Notepad++.exe. So we're gonna open up Notepad. Just a bunch of crap. It's another project I was working on. Yeah, so we're gonna open up Notepad. Here, Notepad, the process is running. And now we're gonna run our injector, see if it works. Cool. Success. So our DLL did inject our DLL, and the memory was written to this address, and that's the process ID. Now, okay. Cool. Alright guys, so there you go. That's how, this is just a basic DLL injection. In the future I would be doing more advanced stuff, but just to get things rolling, I decided to just do a little DLL injection. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. This video probably won't get any views, but yeah. Just let me know what you guys think. Sorry for the long video, but yeah. Alright, have a good one.